Alberta on the brink? Political misstep reignites independence vote talk. Alberta's political landscape is shifting once again, and this time, it's not because of an election or a new policy from Ottawa, it's because of a single petition. Former Progressive Conservative Deputy Premier Thomas Lukaszuk has made headlines by filing a citizen-led petition aimed at reinforcing Alberta's commitment to Canada. On the surface, it seems like a patriotic gesture. But the deeper you look, the more it seems like this move may have opened a political door he had hoped to close. Instead of suppressing talk of Alberta independence, it may have given it a new life. Lukaszuk's petition asks a simple question. Do you agree that Alberta should remain in Canada? It's a direct, clear-cut statement meant to rally support for federal unity. But questions in politics, especially when they land on ballots, are never just about the words. They're about interpretation, timing, and the energy behind them. In this case, Lukaszuk's question, depending on how voters respond, could end up doing exactly the opposite of what he intends. A no vote wouldn't just be a rejection of staying in Canada. It would send a powerful message about Alberta's desire to control its own destiny. Timing is everything, and Lukaszuk seems to know that. He submitted his petition just days before Bill 54 takes effect. This new legislation will lower the signature threshold needed to launch a citizen referendum from 600,000 to approximately 177,000. By acting early, he's chosen to follow the tougher route, aiming for the higher number of signatures as a way to show overwhelming support for federalism. It's a risky strategy, both logistically and politically, because if he fails to gather that support, it may expose a lack of confidence in the very cause he's trying to defend. Meanwhile, the Alberta Prosperity Project, a key player in the independence movement, is preparing to roll out a fully costed fiscal plan for a sovereign Alberta. This plan isn't just a set of numbers. It's a political tool designed to make separation seem viable, even practical. For those in favor of independence, Lukaszuk's petition offers a golden opportunity. It creates a moment where Albertans are being directly asked if they want to stay in Canada. And if a large portion of the population votes no, then that could be framed as a democratic mandate to begin the process of leaving. There's also legal uncertainty hanging over the entire issue. Lukaszuk appears to be operating under the belief that only one petition on a particular subject can be active at a time. In other words, by submitting his petition about staying in Canada, he's effectively blocking anyone else from submitting a competing petition about leaving. Whether that interpretation holds up in court is unclear. What is clear, however, is that this legal ambiguity adds a layer of urgency to the conversation. If Lukaszuk's petition is the only one to make it to the ballot, then how voters respond to it becomes even more important. If voters say yes, the Federalist cause gets a symbolic win. But if the majority votes no, it becomes a de facto endorsement of independence, even if that wasn't the intention. This isn't just theory. It's political reality, and it's exactly why Lukaszuk's move is seen by some as a miscalculation. In trying to shut down separatist momentum, he may have unintentionally given it new focus, new energy, and a new rallying cry. His question forces the issue into the spotlight and demands an answer from voters, one that can be interpreted either way, depending on which side you're on. Complicating things further is the broader national context. Since the snap federal election on April 28th, Prime Minister Mark Carney has been navigating a difficult political climate. His leadership came with promises of stability and reform, but he's also faced growing tensions between Ottawa and the provinces, Alberta chief among them. In this environment, issues like energy policy, federal spending, and perceived Ottawa overreach have only fueled the fire of Alberta alienation. Carney may not have initiated this fight, but how he responds could define his tenure as Prime Minister. The question of Alberta independence isn't just about politics, it's deeply emotional. Many Albertans feel that their values, industries, and way of life are constantly under pressure from federal mandates. There's a growing belief that Alberta contributes more to the Federation than it gets back, especially in terms of resource revenue and taxation. For years, these frustrations simmered beneath the surface. But now, with the petition approved and the possibility of a referendum looming, those feelings are finding a clear and actionable outlet. The Alberta Prosperity Project and other independence advocates are capitalizing on this moment. They're not just promoting vague ideas of separation. They're offering structured, data-backed plans. That includes proposals for currency, trade, healthcare, and governance. Whether or not you support their vision, you can't deny the fact that this movement has matured. It's no longer just a protest. It's an organized, political effort with a growing base. Lukaszuk's petition may have inadvertently strengthened their hand by giving them a timeline and a clear question around which to mobilize. That said, not everyone is convinced that separation is the right path forward. Critics warn that independence would bring significant economic, legal, and diplomatic challenges. These include the potential loss of trade access, regulatory uncertainty, and the complex task of establishing international recognition. Others argue that separation would be more symbolic than practical, and that Alberta's real power lies in reforming the federation from within, not breaking away from it. These debates are intense and ongoing, and Lukaszuk's move has thrown more fuel onto an already volatile fire. Regardless of intent, Lukaszuk's actions have had real consequences. By initiating this petition, he has forced Albertans to confront the question head-on. There's no longer room for hypothetical debates or passive discontent. The moment is here, and the decisions made in the coming weeks could shape Alberta's relationship with the rest of Canada for decades. Whether that leads to renewed unity or deeper division remains to be seen, but the clock is ticking, and the public's attention is now squarely focused on what comes next. What happens from here will depend on many things: how the public responds, how the courts interpret the law, how the federal government reacts, and how well both sides of the debate organize their campaigns. What's certain is that Alberta's political future is no longer just a matter of backroom politics or media talking points. It's become a grassroots issue, one that will be decided not by politicians, but by the people. Lukaszuk may have intended to shut a door, but in doing so, he may have opened a much larger one. As Albertans reflect on this moment, they face a choice far greater than yes or no on a petition. They're deciding what kind of province they want to be, one that works within Canada to reform it, or one that strikes out on its own path. Either way, the consequences will be historic. What began as a strategic move to defend unity may well be remembered as the spark that pushed Alberta toward its most defining vote yet.